Alright, I'm out today. I'm trying to get my medication back, but I'm going to contact the Florida police that did the initial investigation and see if there's a chance that they can open up the second trial that they offered so many years ago that I denied, because it's the only way anybody's ever going to believe me. And here's my question. Right, say I do this. I put myself through an absolute nightmare. I face him again. I go back to court. I show all of this stuff that they've held in evidence for the last 10 years, and I prove without a shadow of a doubt that I have not been lying this entire time. What happens then? Do any of you who have been threatening my life, do you feel bad at that point? Do you apologize? If I go through all of this hell of looking a murderer in the face in court again for a second time, if I go through all of this, does it stop? Or will you all just say that I made it up again and somehow altered the evidence that they had and somehow created something that never happened before because it wasn't in court before? Because they separated the fucking cases. They're not going to talk about a separate case during one case. It's never going to happen. That's not what they do. That's why they're with the Ahmaud Arbery case. Everybody knew how much evidence of racism there was. You know why it wasn't spoken about? Because they wanted to take it to federal. They wanted it to be a different, separate case, which means that they could not use a single shred of evidence from one case in the other case. That's how court works. If they're separating your crime into multiple cases, then you're not going to find evidence of one in the other because they're separate cases. And if you put them together, they could cancel each other out. That's why they do these separately. That's why they separated all of the evidence from what he did to me from all of the evidence of what he did to her. And I am willing now to go to trial for it. I'm willing now to stand up against him. Only because there are so many people trying to have him released and trying to have me silenced, that my life is in danger now if I don't do this. My life is in danger if I don't face off with a murderer for a second time in my life. Something I never wanted to have to do. I never wanted to have to look that man in the face again. I never wanted to have to be in the same room with him again. I don't have a choice. If I don't, they're going to have him released and he's going to kill me. They're releasing him so that he will kill me. And don't say they don't have enough money or enough support, because we all know that my aunt is a fucking millionaire. Kathy's got so much money, she went on a 1,000-mile road trip of revenge during a war when gas is at fucking $6 a gallon. Don't tell me that bitch doesn't have money. What happens when I do this? What happens when I take him to court again and I prove that I have not lied? What do I get from you as reimbursement for the nearly 2 years now of torment that I've been put through just because y'all don't have the correct records to believe me? Will you apologize? Will you feel bad? Will you take your fucking YouTubes down? That could work. How about that? I will make a deal with you. All of you. Kathy, Hatman, Daywave, Adonis Paul, JJ, all of you. If I take this motherfucker back to court and I am proved that I was telling the truth the whole time, you all delete your channels. No more cyber harassing victims. No more profiting off of pain of other people. If I do this, if I put myself through the emotional hell that another trial would be, you delete your channels and you don't create new ones. That's what I'm bargaining with right now. The other option is I go to court with him. I prove I've been telling the truth, because I have no problem proving I have been telling the truth. I have no fear that they won't find that I've been telling the truth. I have fear of being in the same room as a man who murdered a woman and then held me captive for 5 weeks. That's a valid fucking fear. So, again, what happens if I in court prove that I have been telling the truth this whole time? Do I get an apology? Do you leave? Or will you just laugh it off and say, well, none of this was serious anyway? Yes, we mentally tormented you for a year, but it was just a joke. Maybe. The other alternative would be, if I can prove that I haven't been lying in court, which I can, just take time, would be that after that I would start compiling evidence of all of the cyberbullying and harassment that I have been receiving, because I wasn't able to prove it in court the first time, because I wasn't mentally strong enough to take it to court. And maybe I could take up a lawsuit against YouTube for harboring their channels that are causing this kind of emotional distress upon people who they know are weak and mentally not able to deal with things. Because I can't do anything to you personally. I know that. I know. I can't. But YouTube could. YouTube has been informed of the channels. They've been informed of your, ban evasion, blocking evasion, the harassment, the death threats. They've been informed, and they just continue to allow you to profit off of this pain. So I'll do what I have to do. I'll go to court again, and I'll have him locked up again for another life sentence, just to keep myself safe from him being released. But I want to let y'all know right now that if I go through that, that is a whole lot of emotional pain, and I want more than just him being in jail. If I'm going to go through that much emotional torment, I need for my abusers to be gone at the end of it. Because otherwise I'll have to take on YouTube, and I'll have to force the abusers off of the platform. You can take your videos down yourself, or you can allow YouTube to deal with it. I don't know. I don't fucking know. But I do know is that after I take this back to court and prove that I have not been lying, I will have an entire year of evidence proving that y'all have been cyber terrorizing a victim who did not lie. And what are you going to do then? What do you do when it's proven that I told the truth? What do you do? If you're like my family, you do nothing, because you have no sympathy or empathy for what you're putting somebody else through. People like that shouldn't be on YouTube.